Hello, everyone. I want to check. Yeah, we have our audience joining us, and first of all, I'm happy to welcome all of you on this webinar today. Let's give our colleagues like few more minutes. I believe 2 or 3 minutes will be good to have everyone with us here on the line. Thursday is always a good day because it's almost end of the week. So let's hope that we'll get a good audience and good questions today. I would kindly encourage everyone to ask your questions, to be active. We prepare this webinar especially for all our professional colleagues, like newbies, as well as everyone who is building their cybersecurity program for this year, who will build it for next year. And the reason why we talk about it is because we believe that we have a wider vision how security awareness program can be extended, enhanced with a combination of additional tips and tricks, which we will share with you today during this webinar. So let's start. I'm happy to present today with my colleague, Hlib Yevtushenko. Hlib is a fabulous cybersecurity professional. He is right now a principal threat response architect with Under Defense, and with his 13 years of practical and experience in cyber defense. What is remarkable about Hlib, he's not just a super professional, he also have very deep experience in launching more than 15 cybersecurity awareness programs for smaller and bigger enterprises. And that's why we have him here on the line.
My pleasure. And let me introduce Nazar Timoshuk, who is our CEO and founder of Under Defense. He has experience more than 20 years on cybersecurity, its offensive defense, but especially I would like highlight it's on Red Team. Speaking about Red Team, yeah. And he just outstanding personality, for my opinion, and a good friend.
Thank you, Hlib. So as both of us are with Under Defense, I just want to add here why our experience we gained over the years serving our customers will be helpful for you today. So at this moment, we serving, I guess, more than 65,000 endpoints across US, Canada, Mexico, Europe, especially DACH region and North Europe. We have, despite being a great defenders, we have also very, very, very strong expertise in offensive security, in cyber operation simulation, and we deliver more than 140 pen tests every year for our customers. That's why we are recognized as #1 across 5,000 companies on Clutch. We are number 21, as an MDR provider at Gartner. And what is remarkable also is that our defenders playing every year and competing with top cybersecurity firms across the world at biggest cyber defenders event called Boss of the SOC, organized by Splunk. And after 2017, we competing every year. Every year we graduating in the top 10. Fortunately, this year our team demonstrated a great performance and finished the competition as #6 across 184 teams. It was more than 1,000 people, 1,000 cybersecurity professionals. And it is a really great exercise which allows you to be sharp and test your skills. Also, our philosophy is about cyber resiliency because we believe that every company can be hacked. The difference is how the company react on the cyber incidents. So we believe in cyber operations and in a cloud. And in today's agenda, we will speak with you about cyber awareness, about things like KnowBe4, things like Splunk, CrowdStrike, everything that is also related to security awareness and MDR, and how it can make your how can it bring your program for absolutely new level. And we kindly ask everyone to participate in our quick pool. I will ask my colleagues to launch the pool. Yeah, thank you. So we have like just one question as far as I see here. And I will submit my answer here. Yeah. So let's move on. First, why we speak about it. The problem we articulate today is that, as you see on this slide, it was a recent pool performed, launched by Cybersecurity Hub that for across 6,400 cybersecurity professionals and business owners, cybersecurity engineering, as well as insider threats, are the top primary threats for their enterprises. And there is a reason for it. Very often people think that social engineering is just a phishing campaigns delivered over the email. And insider threat is just an employee who is disgruntled and want to harm the business. But actually it is like way wider. And social engineering is about very different techniques to trick a user to give up their credentials. And insider threats is also like in the modern cyber campaigns is also about impersonalization of the employee and using their credentials, bypassing their 2FA to gain a full access to internal network infrastructure and all the company assets with a legitimate user activity, with the legitimate user accounts. Halip?
Yeah, so in this particular webinar, we will speak about PPT framework, people, process, and technologies. So we will not speak how to block your spam, your suspicious email, or your incoming, it can be not only actually emails, it can be anything, it can be messages for social network, etc. We will speak about, again, people, process, and technologies, where people, how we can, train them, how we can educate them, how we can make them more mature on cybersecurity. We'll speak about processes, how we need to communicate with these people. It's also like a key. Who need to communicate, how we can build this communication community around your departments. And technologies as well that will support again to improve these people and processes. You can use different tools. It can be like Proofpoint, KnowBe4, Microsoft, Google, any, Again, tools adjust, support, and help to improve it. Again, this is a golden triangles. Pardon me.
And I just want to add that actually tools are doing their work great. Where everyone struggle is with people who have a vision how to make it right, how to make it big, how to make it efficient, and like people who can implement the process to make it efficient, to make it integrated, to make all your security investments, all your security tool set, which businesses acquire, work like an orchestra. So if you like look at O365 and GCU, they're doing their work. Proofpoint, also a perfect solution. KnowBe4, like there is like KnowBe4 is number one on the security awareness platform across competitors. Still we have a very remarkable cases when huge and terrific companies like FireEye and Uber has been hacked. But there is a big difference between two of these cases, two of these companies. And I want to emphasize why we speak about exactly these two cases. In one case, like in FireEye case, it was to like late 2020, and all of you may remember that FireEye reported to public that they, as a cybersecurity vendor, they have been hacked, and they reported that they discovered the breach performed by some state-sponsored, sophisticated threat actor, and their SOC analyst was able, and he was on duty. He was very conscious and attentive. He discovered the small, tiny anomaly in user access, and that someone was trying to use two-factor authentication, and he spoke to the employee whose account was compromised, and because of this communication, because of the right process, they discovered this huge supply chain attack. So this is a great example, and you remember that I very well remember the moment when FireEye stock was fallen like a rock because they were very responsive cybersecurity firm and reported that they got that breach, but they are investigating the case. And it led to another situation when their stocks skyrocketed because they reported, all right, we identified that we were breached because SolarWinds was the root cause of this case. And this is a right, perfect communication model. It's a perfect example of great responsibility in cybersecurity. On the other hand, we have a very famous case for 2022 when Uber was breached, and they discover it only because attacker announced it in their internal Slack. And then when attacker was interviewed how he gets that access, he simply explains that it was a social engineering, and it was not that simple social engineering. It was access through VPN to that internal network, and then in the internal network, he grabbed the keys from the kingdom. And it's also about how most of enterprises spending their cybersecurity budgets. You can spend like a ton of money on a bug bounty programs, hunting for like bugs in your products. You can spend a ton of money for cloud environments because there's wrong perceptions that cloud, AWS or Azure are securing your data. They are really good because they allow you to have this redundancy and fault tolerance. But again, there are so many cases when cloud environments struggle to operate, and half the continent and Twitter was also down because the cloud provider had experienced some small misconfiguration. And in this case, you can see that Phil Lee from Uber was successfully logged in, and you see all the files that the attacker was able to download during that case. And another access he got, like full access to their antivirus endpoint detection response solution, like Sentinel-1 control. It means that impersonalized users our stolen username and password will actually open door for attacker, and without a proper monitoring of user behavior and anomalies, like none of businesses can be safe. So the difference is that there's two kind of companies who have been hacked and companies who haven't been hacked yet. But good companies can spot an attack quickly, and bad companies wouldn't even know that they have been hacked. And both of these companies have this security awareness. And goal of this presentation is to emphasize that most of businesses have like small security teams. They have between like 1 to 10 cybersecurity people in-house, or they have an MSP, MSSP who serves them, who protects them. But the problem is that even having proper cybersecurity awareness program in place, without the feedback, without support, it can fail. And our goal of this presentation is to enable all our guests to make your employees, to make your co-workers your ally, to make them an extension to your cybersecurity team through proper training and education. And really, please help us to understand what are the 5 key mistakes.
Yeah, thank you, Nazar. Well, you can see in these results on this screen, we indicated at least 5 main key mistakes. First mistake, business invest into tools, but don't check results. I believe you agree. Business can, we're trying to find some easy solutions, a silver bullet or some pills, that can help us. And technically, just technology that need to be measured somehow. But how you can prove it, how you can check that you have real results, that you have real protections, and actually proactive protections, not reactive. Secondly, actually, as you know, it's most about culture. It's most about culture where you need to build and to understand it. Some employees can complete trainings, but they may not learn it from these trainings. They may open in separate window, looking at it, okay, it's completed, go to the next. And it means they were not focused. They didn't understand the main principle and goals, why they need to be completed these trainings. Lack of interest, as I mentioned before, again, not solid program. Again, it's ongoing program, especially on focus at risky users, indicate risky user and mitigate it, and lack of context in company's culture. Everything actually we will show it in a little bit later in other slides and explain more details.
Yeah, I just want to add that that lack of context in company culture. This is something you should rise in discussions with your MSP, MSSP, because it's something that can make a really difference if they dive deep enough to understand your business and your people, your culture. And what we learned that over the years, that API and data-driven feedback loops to security programs can make a really good difference, because there's mostly 2 approaches: proactive, which is security awareness with tools like KnowBe4, and reactive, to make sure that your people are not clicking the link, and you educate them how not to be tricked in social media or on LinkedIn or other channels where malware can be delivered and executed on an endpoint. So you have these reports and analytics on your risky employees and effectiveness of this program. But there is also reactive approach, which is also vital. And FireEye case was a brilliant example for it. Because without just hope that security awareness will do their work is not enough, because you need to have something additional control to make sure that even if in a worst case scenario they click, they become a victim, they launch the malware, there is someone on your end, on your side, who will utilize the best of the breed tool set to detect, to spot an attack, and to have immediate reaction. As I told, the good companies can detect attacks, in a minute, and the good companies don't even know about it. But what can make it also a big shift in paradigm is when professional security leaders will look at their cyber programs from risk and data centric point of view. and this way they would have this continuous security improvement loop. Because look, if we have a situation when people pass the training, but like they are our leaders in malware downloading and execution, one day there will be a malware sample which wouldn't be detectable by our EDR, EPP, or other solutions in place. That malware wouldn't be even be missed by SIEM or other instruments. And that's why it's critical to provide this feedback on a from proactive to reactive approach to reactivate the trainings for employees, for co-workers who can be really risky assets for organization. Bringing them more trainings to them, connecting to them via also communication channels like Slack and Microsoft Teams will allow you to make them your ally, to have a better response scenarios, and also it will increase the ROI of your instruments, because you will have results of the regular testing, but you will see also reality, not how they behave in this in a simulated environment, but how they behave in reality. So let's talk about security awareness.
Thank you, Nazar. So I just want to highlight again, we are not speaking about technologies. We are speaking about this PPT, people, process, and technologies. They're all equal. So let's look, who is the most powerful team in your organizations on people and processes. Of course, it's HR. So HR has a huge impact on your organizations. They can build different methodologies to improve cybersecurity maturity in your organization. You may ask, how? It's a fair question. You can use SMART methodology or any other methodologies where you can use not only to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, but also you can make C, like cybersecurity. What does it mean C, cybersecurity on your performance operational process? HR also may help you to communicate with the people, to explain how it is important. Because again, some people may not understand it and will ignore it, will ignore trainings, may ignore report some suspicious messages, but HR again will prove it to show why they need to look. And so it's again team effort. And for my opinion, HR has a really huge impact on cybersecurity in general as well. They can motivate people using some badges and like leaders score tables. In next slide, you can see like one of security awareness program. And again, it's already technologies, by the way, can help and assist HR as well, to make some badges to show you're a cyber hero, you like eager beaver, like some fancy, but it's pretty cool for my opinion. And this badge indicates, some interesting, stuff that, like you, the most common guy who I reported the most phished emails, etc. Here you can see phishing top results, who click it, it's here. On trainings progress in general, your personal risk score, your general leaderboard table as well, where you can compare who is topping today on these achievements. It can be like, Matthew, it can be John from your sales department. This month or maybe next quarter, everything can be set up and giant. Actually, we have many different technology who has similar settings. But here I want to show that we have another tricky question, how we can spend less time to set up it, how we can compare, to maybe automate something. So question answer is pretty easy. API is some technical solutions. It's not people and process, but the technical solutions also help to support to do it. So KnowBe4 has several you see subscriptions. Of course, you can use some more cheaper, it's silver one. However, if you would like to work with integrations, you need to start from Platinum subscriptions where you have API capabilities. But however, but to be honest, again, I recommend to use Diamond because you will have more chains company. You will have around 30 games. You will have around 200 training models. You will have more capabilities to see newsletters, posts, images. It's like huge library. And training, special trainings, it's the only main drive to be proactive to show people how you need to learn, where is the sensitive data, how to indicate the criticality of your assets, how you can cooperate with them, how you even just to report, that something was happened. May I ask the next slide? Thank you. And here, based on this, complexity of the trainings, you can see from the left corner the calculations by Nobi team. That main companies, again, they just install platform and that's it. Implement one maybe baseline training campaign and forget about it. Unfortunately, it's not how it works. You see that fish clone percentage is pretty high in the beginning. So you need to build a strategy. The strategy, especially how you need to decrease it. And during the next months, you see like 3 months later, when you have other training and phishing campaigns at the same time, you is slowly decreasing from 30 to 17%. And in the end, after around maybe 1 year, 12 months, average of the fish prone percentage which will be much less. It will be average again 5%. For my opinion, it's huge. But how you can achieve it again? And what does it mean actually fish prone? Pardon me that I forgot to explain. Fish prone, it's a complexity. It's a complexity of failures. You click it on failed email, you attach it, fake it malicious, you open fake it attachments, you enter some data on landing page. It can be many different stuff. And based on this, we also can calculate the personal risk score of each users. You can make some assessment. You can see, like the weaknesses and strength sides of your employees, each employees, and to calculate overall organizational score. Right, Nazar?
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing here to this slide. Guess why? Like in average reports, there is like additional 5% at the end of the year in people who failed to and who got fished. I have very simple explanation for it. It's because companies have this at least 5% of people who came and who go, and with all these massive layouts, you can imagine how companies are transforming now, how people are motivated or demotivated, and like in a few years, when companies, bigger companies, will start their hiring processes, you can imagine that amount of newbies in organizations will be huge. And guess what? From the offensive and perspective and the malicious actor perspective, like newbies, people who haven't got any trainings, they're the easiest targets. They are low-hanging fruits. And as you see here on these results, like this baseline, the snapshot of who in your organization are risky and tricky, and users who can be tricked, will allow you to have initial understanding of culture. On the other side of the coin, you will see that after training, you will understand where you have to put your attention. As example, these results demonstrate that after training, people understand that how to be like correct, how to properly use email security, how to like how to use internet, to be paranoid in the internet, how to report incidents. But you see the gaps that people through social media can become a victim, and in this case, it just makes sense to have also additional controls to avoid a data breach, because it may came from some LinkedIn or Skype or other things.
Thank you. So through this portal, KnowBe4 portal, for example, you have capability to onboard people in different way. We recommend, of course, use Active Directory, and because it will be automatically added on your list of users, and you can easily to understand where from which department they are. If you, of course, you configure it in the right way, your Active Directory. You can see different departments. You will see different risks of the departments based, again, on your phishing campaigns and training campaigns combinations. You can easily, again, see the progress. Is it like a new guy who just onboarded it? Is it some old, I mean, old guy, because he maybe works almost 5 years in the organization, but still doesn't know what is how businesses works, or what is the sensitive data. So you can operate it. You can easily manage it. It's like full visibility for you, what to do and how to do. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And having got this picture, and after the initial setup of your security awareness program, many business leaders realize, all right, like, what can we do with it? Maybe there is another, and by the way, I just want to emphasize and confirm everything that Halip just said. You see here that even KnowBe4 and many other security awareness tools, they rely on things that called risks, risk level, risk score. They gave some actions, some behavior, additional risk points. And risk and people-centric cybersecurity program can make a difference in any organization to be more like healthy, more way more protected. And this slide, there is a typical layered defense architecture we have with many of our customers. You see, like, most of them have firewall, IDS, IPS, some network security appliances, some web application firewalls. They have some security awareness toolset, and like new generation EPP, EDR solution, host, something for detecting malware on a host endpoints. And they all of them provide telemetry, and all that telemetry goes straight to the SIEM system, or it can be not SIEM, it can be something else. You are free to choose, but SIEMs are really good in giving the holistic view, a single pane of glass from all different security tool sets that organization have as a legacy or organization acquired during their life cycle. And why it is critical to understand who from your employees are the riskiest users, because they gave you like, you need to understand like, who are these people who download the most of malicious files, and why, despite having security awareness, they still download and launch these malicious files. Who use the flash drives, and who brings the malware from their home computers to their corporate networks. Your employees, like all of us, understand that sometimes we are overwhelmed, sometimes we are stressed, and Friday evening is actually the best time to start any phishing and social engineering campaign against the target organization. So like that's what like malicious actors really use, and like having this combination of security awareness plus MDR help to identify the people who has been tricked over this period. And right now it's December. Like we in our practice observe a huge spike for a holiday season every year. Like really big breaches happen, like SolarWinds happen on December 6th, right? So it's December 8th. As for today, and having this answers to understand who are people who mixing their personal and corporate environment, and who believes that they are not a target, will help you to have additional controls, not be breached because people are too confident in what they do. SIEM also, with the use of proper and right correlation rules and adding the watch list into a watch list all your risky users, integrating back with KnowBe4 through API will result in increasing true positive incidents and decreasing false positives for your security analysts who will watch your network, and they would have a leverage to add additional training for people who fail to pass the threshold. Also, with the proper training, your employees, as I mentioned earlier, would be able to to become your ally and send more suspicious, malicious files to your threat hunting team using a fish alert button. This way, organization would be able to react faster. They would be able to block a malicious attack campaign, not just for one employee, but for all of them, and start and threat hunting team would be more focused that something is going on and they have to be careful. They will have to be more attentive. If you have an MDR vendor, the monthly, and you manage security awareness tools yourself, it's also perfect combination to have their monthly report, review those reports with your MDR vendor, and integrate it back with your EDR, with KnowBe4, or with your identity systems to have the score in place. And I will show you later on a few slides further how we have done it with different SIEMs and how you can leverage it in your technologies if you have something similar in-house. And of course, it's about the culture. For cybersecurity professionals, it's not that easy to build a relationship with HR. But if you do so, you can have definitely the way better effect of your work, adding reports of your riskiest users to like performance appraisal, performance review process will definitely provide that feedback loop to employees that, hey, friend, you successfully passed our security awareness training. Like you are our promoter. You are like super ninja here. But we noticed that over the last month, so last 6 months, you downloaded many risky files. Like, please be careful, watch your back, watch, like, please help us to decrease the risk for our organization. With this feedback loop, results, the actions are way more effective. And this is a great example how CrowdStrike, as a great tool we love, implemented it. So like depending on your, as example, group membership, depending on some of parameters, they're assigning a risk score for a user. And this score also may depend on additional things like, as example, inadequate password policy, or on things like compromised password detection. So if your employees use simple passwords and these passwords were associated with some external breach, tools like CrowdStrike would be very helpful. On the other hand, like more mature enterprises rely on things like SIEM, and Splunk is a great SIEM product. And there you can actually, it's a big data lake where you can collect and aggregate all the risk scores, all the risk multiplicators to have to enable your security team to have a true and real understanding if what's the proper reaction to some specific incidents should be. Should we really be nervous that this is one of our most riskiest users and he's performing another deadly action and putting organization on risk, or it's some activities that we know as false positive or something, because this employee, this asset is well known as being secure, and it's less probability that it had been compromised. Again, you can get this kind of reports with Splunk and Elastic and Curator and other tools. All of them have this functionality to manage risk score and to work with other data sources to increase the risk score depending on event, depending on severity, depending on user behavior. So this anomalies become more become more visual, become way easier to be spotted by qualified security analysts because you integrate and make your security stack work like an orchestra. And as soon as you have these things in place, you would be able not just to have a higher score assigned to a user or asset or event. You would be able to perform responsive actions. You see here as example, Splunk have a great adaptive response functionality. You can increase the risk score, but you can also run scripts which will additionally run this integration through API with KnowBe4, and it will assign additional trainings for users who putting the company at risk. What's next? What we learned that very often email is well protected. It's really like security tools doing a great job in protecting you from spam and malicious attachments, and that's why attackers created many other scenarios to trick a user, and there is about other channels that your employees use to communicate and to get files from the internet. So you can get a professional configuration for your KnowBe4, or you should take additional training to configure KnowBe4 and bring it to a next level. We recommend to run a social engineering at least once a year to test how your security tools work, how your defenders work, if you have this 24/7 coverage. And the last but not least, and I believe it's one of the most important things, is to integrate your security toolset to work with your internal messaging applications like Microsoft Teams and Slack. As example, on this screenshot, you may see that in our reporting to a customer, we integrate with Slack and Teams, giving the customer the full breakdown, all the details required for him to take a proper decision, as well as we allow them to, in response actions, right from Slack or Teams, to assign additional trainings on that specific topic that is related to malware type or specific event type or threat classification. So this way, again, you cut that time required to log into some other system, select a training, assign it to a specific person. It become, because of this API and data-driven and integrated approach, security people don't waste time for boring stuff, but do their work better, faster, and time to response become way more important element for every cybersecurity program. So as a key takeaway, as Halip mentioned, security awareness is not just a tool. You need to watch your results. You need to have automation in place. And from our experience, the best scenario to have automation is not just to launch the monthly or weekly training for like an hour for your employees, because again, they will launch it in another window or another monitor, and they wouldn't be attentive. They even may pass the test. They will learn, because people are very adaptive, that this is a phishing over the email which was delivered by no before. But at the end of the day, they will download something malicious to their host, to the endpoint, and launch that game or that Photoshop editor to complete the mission that they have an urgency. And with integrating all this security portfolio all together with like 24/7 coverage and automating your incident response through Teams, Slack, and other stacks like KnowBe4, you will get this risk and data-centric process in your organization, and your security will improve with time. And everyone and all the newbies who will join your business as a co-workers, as your employees, all of them will be part of this flying wheel, this like machine that will work like an orchestra and assure that, even despite a newbie haven't passed the security awareness training, as soon as he starts running something bad in your network, the security awareness will start automatically for them. It will make a big culture shift for organization, and it will be very, very, very cost efficient. On this slide, you can see that me and Halip have been encrypted as a QR codes. So we kindly ask.
It's not Bitcoins, no worries.
Yeah, so we will kindly ask everyone to join us on LinkedIn, and also like continue our like discussion about the topic in private conversation. We have time for Q&A, and I believe we have one more quiz. If we have one more quiz, please launch it. We curious about the outcomes of it. And let me stop screen sharing. And also, yeah, great. And also we have a bunch of questions here, I see. Yep, recording will be available for public. To export risk score into other tools like EM. Yes, you are right. Many tools, if you have an API, they allow you to get the risk score exported and then imported to some another source. So I'm not sure if I am on AWS example gave you the risk score. I don't remember, to be honest, but absolutely. I see that Halip responded that KnowBe4 supports IAM. Okay, yeah, but you need to subscription platinum or diamond. But in case of AWS, it's a question, because they have their own identity servers. I know that it works natively with Azure ID, and Azure ID and Microsoft Office 365 have a great integrations with KnowBe4 and can support this changes in user identities, in anomalies, logins, very, very easily and very quickly. I see some familiar people here with us. I would appreciate if smart people will ask their great questions or provide a feedback. We like engage everyone to join us in the conversation. We have 10 more minutes for a Q&A. Please go ahead and raise your question.
Even if you want to dispute with something, feel free. Let's try.
All right, I have a question from Wadid. Risk-based approach to this is a really great shift in the program. Thank you for feedback. Alice is asking about how to connect security awareness with the company culture and what other departments should be involved. Filip, maybe you can cover this question.
Yeah, sure, with my pleasure. Actually, it's really good questions, because especially, connections and collaboration between different departments is the key. We should not forget that we are one community. We are all accountable. So it means if you have IT departments, work with HR departments together. If you have sales department also may help. Everybody can be communicated. But again, don't forget, cybersecurity is pretty, difficult for some people. It's totally normal. It's totally okay. So collaborations from HR has a really huge impact to help and to build the cyber culture, cybersecurity awareness program also integrated. And IT department, if you have cybersecurity department, it's amazing. But if you don't, it's okay. IT department also can help and assist you to build this culture, to educate HR team and help to go through all this, your community. Again, everybody accountable in your organizations. So you cannot just say this yes, but this no. It's not how it works.
We have another great question. How often should you organize security awareness training for your employees?
Good question. It's very depends of your size organizations. It can be like 10 people, 30 people, hundreds, thousands. However, I really highly recommend you to have first its baseline phishing and chain campaign to understand your risk score level, and then to build your strategy. Usually it can be like 2 campaigns on an annual basis. Of course, you can use only one. It's also totally fine, but I recommend to have minimum 2 for all employees. And other campaigns, it's very depends. It can be like for more risky users. Like we know these departments will be very, targeted during Black Friday. Sales, finance, I just kidding, But anyway, you need to find some, maybe sometimes it can be like easy campaigns, sometimes it will be maybe more difficult campaigns. But generally speaking, approximately it can be around 4 trainings and a moment 5 trainings campaign during the year, and around the same, phishing campaigns. But again, it's very depends how you use mature on it, because it can be more, it can be less. It's built on your risk score. You need to find, risky users and go decrease it. It's one slide when I explained about personal risks and fish. Pardon for my language. All the ends of the day, and so about fish front percentages. Yes.
Terrific. Thank you, Filip. And like my recommendation regarding the how often the organization should run the security awareness trainings. Look, if it's a short videos which your employee is getting once a week, and this is 1 minute video. You can have it, this short trainings every week in the morning, because in the morning people are fresh. In the morning, people just started to do their work, and during their when they started parsing their mailbox, they absolutely can invest 1 minute in the white short class, very short, funny engagement video material, which will teach them something. If we speak about the running phishing campaigns, phishing simulations against your employees, the best scenario is to run it, like late afternoon or Friday afternoon, to make sure that they are exhausted, they are tired, and they will be not that attentive. Like Ivan also asked a question about HR role in cybersecurity. Look, if you have ever done any compliance preparation implementation like ISO 27001, like you may spot that all that security, again, it's everyone's responsibility, and HR can like there are a few moments where HR participate in cybersecurity. Good companies, they do background screening. They do like they don't just hire people from the streets and putting them to do some work. HRs are responsible for people who has been hired to organization, right? The same people could be your helpers, your promoters, and again, it's very often depend on if you're a geek and as a CISO, and you focus on fine-tuning your tools, or you are a leader and you want to have connection to your management, to your co-workers, and to utilize power of your parallel departments to help you complete your mission, to make organizations stronger and demonstrate that because you cooperated with HR, well, look, like we have this shorter, quicker feedback loops, and despite all my attempts to convince all these like 100 employees not to repeat their mistakes, with help of HR, I managed to get their attention and decrease infection score we have over the last 3 to 6 months. Another good question is from Naomi. We are a small business and have limited budgets. What absolute must-haves would you recommend starting with in terms of security tools to make sure we are keeping it cost-effective? And at what stage of business growth do you think companies should start paying more attention to their security posture? Very good question, Naomi. Thank you. So look, what we have seen over the years of our practice, most of businesses on the beginning of their life cycle, it is between like between 1 to 4 years. They just survive to like they are fighting for survival. They don't care about cybersecurity. They are trying to get initial revenue, which will allow them to grow, to have like they're not focused on the risks. Company after between 4 to 7 years of life, usually they started realizing that to get bigger enterprise level customers, they need to have some cybersecurity in place, and most of them focus on compliance. So they're trying to get a badge that they have something from cybersecurity perspective, and they buying some EPP, antivirus, or endpoint detection response solution. If you speak about low budget, we recommend to start something with CrowdStrike, no, CrowdStrike is expensive. SentinelOne or Sophos or Trend Micro, they are in moderate, reasonable, cost-efficient price. And obviously, you will need to start your program with some basic level at know before because it's required by most of compliances. So you will have your badge, and you you will pass, as example, ISO audit, and you will be way more reasonable in the eyes and trustworthy in the eyes of big enterprises. And after that, after 7 to 9 years of company life cycle, as they realize, all right, we need more than one person who will handle all the security. We need a few people. We need to segregate the roles, and we need to have a real practical cybersecurity program. We need to run a pen test. We need to run the simulations. We need to make sure that we have visibility and we can spot the attacks that are performed against us, because we have a risks. We are pre-IPO, pre-exit. We have enough money in our bank account and to lose. We have a brand, we have reputation, we have everything. So that's a typical life cycle where companies become conscious that they have to take cybersecurity seriously, because then it's become a risk-centric approach. Peter, have a question. How do you develop minimum recommendation list of telemetry sources required to provide effective basics to feed the MDR analyst with a meaningful data? Really, let's please handle this question.
Good question. It's like minimum telemetry sources to effective basis to feed MDR analysis meaningful. For instance, if you find a client who does not have an active anti-malware policy in effect, do you call attention to do all the overall security posture? Okay, so yeah, of course. When you indicated it, again, it depends what you really indicated. You need to action it. So, for example, customer. Actually, it's a good example. We have one customer on SentinelOne, and we figure out that he has also pretty high risk score on KnowBe4 platform. And SentinelOne unfortunately doesn't have risk score, but we found that this guy during the 1 month have again some malicious on his computer, and his risk score, his personal risk score, was pretty high. Okay, what happened? We start to look, investigate it. We indicated. We found this guy took his home USB drive and just used it like in his home environment and in his organization at the same time. And since his home drive was infected, and every time when he plugged in his home drive, he come back, to his office, and it again affected the organization. Of course, Sentinel blocked it, and everything was fine, no damages. But in the end, while he is continuously doing it, what happens? Is it allowed? So we try to communicate. We try to understand with IT department, with his manager. Is it normal to have this USB drive or not? And at the same time, we communicated with HR. HR, also try to see, his role, and communicate in health way to explain this is not normal, and we assign trainings to again improve his maturity level to understand why he is wrong, because maybe it's not comfortable for him, but again we have rules, and these rules make sense, and it's why. Again, anything to add, Nazar?
So far, so good. Are there any other questions? We want really to express our gratitude for your attention, and you are a beautiful audience. Thank you for all your questions. We want to welcome you to join other further sessions in January, and looking forward to seeing you on our events and making cybersecurity more practical for people we work with. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.